So, I was thinking when preparing this panel that I had the opportunity to talk to most of the speakers in the different panels and to see the diversity of viewpoints on the different topics we have been discussing and the different conclusions, a very diverse point of view. But there is one conclusion about this conference that I think all of them shared, and I'm not going to say this to flatter you or out of any arrogance from our academy, but I think all of them were really sincere when they said that one of the most impressive aspects of this conference is the level of the students of the academy, their questions, their remarks, and their maturity. So I think I couldn't help starting this, and it's not, I insist, to flatter them. Don't take it for granted. This is encouragement, but no satisfaction. Still keep working, but so far so good. So you have now another opportunity to show how good you are as diplomats, because you will be asked to summarize in 2 minutes each one, and I will also be tough on time. Each one of you has to explain one of the areas, one of the main areas we have discussed. And we start with Mian and gender. So 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good afternoon, everyone. High caliber female diplomats are leaving their careers in diplomacy early. The Diplomacy and Gender Diplo conversations aim to address the key challenges to explain why this is and what specific actions ministries can take to enable women to progress in diplomatic careers. The first set of challenges were more generic. They focused on cultural structures and unconscious biases that can frame society today. The second set of challenges can be applied across most work environments, such as the possibility for promotion, how women's roles are perceived in meetings, or even the perception that women must choose between a career or a family. Luckily, our panel was full of solutions. This roundtable discussed multiple policy options. In order to tackle this, we need to understand the problem first. We need to introduce more metrics to underline how much work we still have to do. There needs to be research into the reasons behind this gap. Referring back to the workplace challenges, there is a need to take affirmative action to fast-track our goals, such as upward appraisals, quotas, longer paternity leave, and flexible working hours. And finally, under the theme of this Diplo conversation, the policy options for ministries of foreign affairs are to develop agreements for partners to work abroad or lead by example through the principle of reciprocity. By posting more women abroad, this can encourage others to contribute towards global goals. Thank you.
Well done. Now, Ahmed, culture, the floor is yours.
The UAE is a culturally viable country. It prides itself as a tolerant, respectful, and understanding country. However, there is a great misconception around the world, as Arabs and Muslims are not looked at as tolerant. Thus, we must demystify the misconceptions by connecting with people through culture and diplomacy. In today's world, you can quickly connect due to social media and technology. It's easy to spread honesty and trust through social media, but also easy to spread distrust and chaos. Cultural diplomacy is about innovation and creativity, as cultural exchanges make us stronger, not weaker. When connecting to human beings, there must be a shared humanity, respect, and understanding. Cultural exchange can be achieved by multiple ways, including architecture, museum, education, the movie industry, etc. We also saw France as a successful example of as public diplomacy. Cultural diplomacy is a form of soft power used to bring people together in order to exchange ideas and share our values. We need to speak the language of people in order to attract and build our relations with the globe.
Well done, Ahmed. Aliasia, now it's training.
So Sheikh Zayed had many dreams, and one of them is to build a modern world. He insisted that the future generation will live in a world very different from what they were accustomed of. And indeed, we are living in the 21st century. We're facing rapid changing technology, globalization, and it is essential for diplomats to require the essential skills to be successful. Training them academically and practically through simulations and crisis management to enable them to build a strategic mind and to prepare them to prepare them for the unexpected. And this is what the 21st century is all about. It's full of surprises. It is essential to be prepared to work under pressure with limited resources in a different environment and to be pushed out of their comfort zone. Emotional intelligence plays a vital role in our daily life, especially for a diplomat during negotiations. It enables them to assess the situation and react accordingly. However, it was asked during the session in DiploCon if character could be trained and if emotional intelligence could be trained. Yes, it could. Because diplomacy is more complex today than ever before, diplomats are in need of constant training and on what technology is about and what people are using. Diplomacy is not isolated anymore. It is for the people and it is for the world. We need to connect with the world and we need to know how to connect with the world. A successful diplomat, as Mr. Ambassador Thomas Fletcher has said, is to be smart, to be brave, and to be be curious. And a successful diplomat is a mediator and a doctor of war, as Your Excellency have said to us. And a diplomat is digitalized. So thank you, Emirates Diplomatic Academy, for training us to be prepared for the outside.
Thanks, Aliasia. Finally, Omar, briefing on technology, please.
Well, thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Throughout this conference, we identified several challenges regarding technology which might face our future career. The first one, there is a gap of communication between the developed and the underdeveloped world, where this thing led also to reach as a conclusion of few communication between the governmental sector and the private sector in the technology. And there is also one challenge we faced is the risk-taking from diplomats. There is a risk-taking for diplomats to try new technology. And the last one, the mass of data available and the rare access to this data from the government itself. But we came at the end to multiple solutions to provide the best practice in this term, the technology, is that we have to engage the technology companies in solving the problems which we are facing, and to build to rebuild. This term we made it build to rebuild, is that to build a secured form of communication to rebuild the trust between the people and the governments globally. The third one is a joint venture should be established between the state actors and non-state actors to promote global issues and to find solution for it. And the last one, which in my personal opinion is the most important one, is to teach and educate responsibility to the new generation students. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Omar. I would like to say, and this is not part of the introduction will be done immediately, but we have been discussing a lot yesterday and today gender, and as you can see, this is a reality. When you see what the students, the female students and the female, actually the diplomats in training at the academy are doing, and they are the majority of the students, usually they are in the highest positions, not always, but very often. I think it is important to acknowledge that a group of pioneering diplomats and ambassadors have played, and the next speaker is one of them. So personally, I pay tribute to her role, to her leadership and her power to inspire others. This panel was about something different, and she will be properly introduced later on. This panel was about a summary of these 2 days. And I think there's nothing we need to add. You have been fantastic in summarizing these 4 topics, the most important ones in our discussions. I would just like, before we close this panel, to ask the audience, all our guests, not only to acknowledge with your applause the work that these 4 representatives have done in the panel, but also the excellent representation of the other EDA students throughout these 2 days, and also to recognize, to acknowledge the fantastic work that the team at EDA has done for weeks under pressure to prepare this conference. Phil Dafty has been coordinating the team, but I should go through a lot of names because everyone at the Academy has been involved, and I think it's also very important to acknowledge his work, Mayasa, Nawal. It's a long list, and so I better don't go through all of them, but please join me in acknowledging their effort and this wonderful students' effort. Thank you very much.